Hey, this is Michael Lindsay from Vital MX, and we are doing another episode of Rumormill today. We're going to do as we do at the top of the show every time. Rumormill is a show we do that is related to the gossip, the rumors, the talk around the pits with the riders, the mechanics, agents, other industry media people we know, just things we hear. Everything we talk about in here is not necessarily 100% confirmed or out in the public, but it is things that are far enough along, or at least are a growing situation that we think it's worth talking about and interesting for viewers like you. So this episode today is related to the Firepower Honda team. They are the factory Honda team down in Australia. They have been competing up here in the U.S. for 3 years now, originally under the Penrite branding. Second year was Muck-Off Honda. This year is Firepower Honda. We believe that looks like it will be a relationship going forward with them, so we're still using that for the team name as we address the next season or two. We actually will see them continue racing here in a little bit related to that first rumor. So, as you saw in the intro graphic, we have two different riders we're talking about there going to this team. The one that we are more serious about, and we believe it's a done deal and should be announced anytime soon, is Max Anstie, the Brit. We believe signed with the team a little while ago. We've been waiting for it to become public, but Martin Davalos kind of finally let it slip the other day in a post. Posted a picture of him working with a rider. Martin Davalos is the team manager for the U.S. side of this program. And guy's in full fly gear, and it looks a lot like Max. Even with the helmet on and everything, it's kind of an easy 2 and 2 to put together. Anstie has said recently that he would be racing this summer, select rounds for a new team he is signed with, and Martin was mentioning a rider they're going to have race a few rounds on a CR450R. So we believe that Max has inked a fairly long-term deal with this team, at least for the next 2 years beyond this, and they have primarily signed him, from what we're aware, to be their face in the 250 side of the program for U.S. Supercross, Global, or the World Supercross Championship, and potentially the Australian Supercross Championship, depending on how all those schedules unfold. So we'll see him get to do a little bit of outdoor nationals this year, but we think going past that, he will be primarily an indoor guy for them, racing upwards of possibly 3 different indoor series on 250F for them. Originally, when this team kind of took a bigger step in the U.S. this year, they had signed Jordan Smith, and that was kind of their goal, is Jordan Smith to be their marquee guy. But the way it worked out, as we all saw, Jordan Smith has signed and is now riding for the Monster Energy Star Yamaha program. So, yeah, they had to go hunting. Max was available. He's a world-class talent. And they were able to, as far as we're aware, again, lock him down. We'll see when it becomes official. Now, the one that's a little bit more of a rumor beyond that is we heard that they are interested and have made some sort of an offer to Dean Wilson for potentially a 450 ride in World Supercross and Australian Supercross going forward. Dean, of course, is just coming back from his very nasty rear end side injury, and we will get to see him race some outdoor nationals this year for his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team, but we do not believe that he will be continuing with them after this season. It looks like next year the team will be a 4-man operation, and they have already signed Christian Craig onto a 450 there for the next 2 years for 23 and 24, and Malcolm Stewart has a contract for 23 already in place, meaning they have 2 450 guys locked down. On the 250 side, we believe they're re-signing RJ Hampshire to go along with Jalik Swoll, giving them probably a full tent. Even though they've ran a bigger operation than that in the past, everything we're hearing is that the Austrian ownership group would like their teams in the U.S. to ideally be 2 and 2 in each class, capping, we believe, that program at probably 4 riders realistically. So, kind of bummer there. Dean's been with the program for a long time, but in some years, depending on injuries and other guys, he's been kind of on the outside looking in for that spot, and this relationship may finally be over. We do know from talking to Dean personally, I think it was like a year or 2 ago, he was very interested here towards the end of his career on going potentially indoors only, so this could work out as a really good deal for him to get to race a couple more years, get to travel the world, and potentially be one of the biggest faces. As we all know, Dean is a very well-liked rider with a huge social media presence. He would be a really big presence for this team going into the World Supercross Championship. He has a really good worldwide fan base. So, again, Dean really fits the mold of this upcoming World Supercross Championship. We don't know, however, what that would do for his AMA ambitions next year, because as of this year, that Firepower Honda team was running 250s only on East Coast, and we haven't heard if they're going to step up and run a 450 in the U.S. next year. Maybe because of Dean they will. Or potentially, again, maybe his contract ends up only being for the World Championship, which we believe is going to be around 3 or 4 rounds at the end of this year, but grow into a 10 to 12 round series next year. plus potentially, 5 or 6 rounds of Australian Supercross. So definitely a decent amount of racing for Dean. We believe this is the best option he has on the table. We do know at one point the Beta Motorcycles was talking to him about their upcoming U.S. program, but similar to Triumph, from what we've heard, Beta has been delayed potentially, so we may not get to see the Beta team racing Supercross next year, so we think that option is now off the table, and this would be the possible best home for Dean. It's kind of interesting. We'll see where else this Firepower Honda team goes. They will have, of course, if they do have both the guys we talked about locked down or are getting them locked down, that would still leave them with a 250 role to fill and a 450 role. We do not believe they're continuing on with Jarrett Fry after this season, but depending on what riders are available on the market, maybe they give him another chance for 250s next year. But as of now, we would think that they're likely looking to fill those spots. On top of that, the team, of course, has a huge presence in Australia. Maybe potentially one of their riders over there, like a Dean Ferris or Kyle Webster, might be able to fit in his program, but we also think a lot of that has to do with how the World Supercross schedule plays out against even the Australian National Championship in both motocross and supercross. If you listen, we did an interview that got posted right before this with Craig Dack, who runs the Factory Yamaha team down there, and he talks about some of the challenges and struggles of, hey, they are an Australian team first. They have to field a good team in those national championships. And we would expect the same for the Firepower guys here, is that they would probably need to maintain a really good presence there. So all those factors could play out to decide those other two positions. We'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Who else do you think could end up on this program? For people that are more familiar with the Australian scene, who could you maybe see from the Aussie side ending up on this program? Anybody got any suggestions or anything cool they'd like to see? Throw it in the comments section below. Punch subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.